Welcome to Android Authority On Air, the original Android Hangout show on Google+. I'm Derek Ross.
And I'm Scott Anderson.
This week we're joined by returning guest Jonathan Franklin. John, thanks for coming again. We appreciate it.
Good seeing everybody.
And what's that new device you got with you?
I have received today about lunchtime a Verizon version of the Galaxy Note 2. So
all right, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Definitely.
Cool.
All right, so this week on the agenda, we have some app updates. Ingress just got an update moments ago, so while you're listening or watching to us, go ahead and download your Ingress update. Google Drive did some stuff, Chrome, Netflix, and Amazon is big in Japan. For device updates, we're going to talk about the Droid DNA, the Galaxy Note 2 on Verizon that John has, actually. We're going to talk about some leaks. And, of course, rooting and ramen with some Nexus devices, patent wars that we always talk about. And we're going to be giving some stuff away. We're going to be giving away 2 Ingress codes, and we're going to be giving away a code to enter on our website for a chance to win a Nexus 10, because who wouldn't want a free Nexus 10, right? And then we're going to close up with some Derek Whiny time, as Dan, who can't be here this evening, likes to call it, where I'm going to talk about how I sold my Nexus 4 today and why. I know it's a sad, sad day, but we'll get to that later. So Android ecosystem stuff we're going to get to as well. So Scott, app updates.
App updates. Ingress just pushed an app update, no changelog, so we don't really know what's in it. So download with caution.
We discussed this the other week, posting updates with no changelog data at all.
Yes, we did.
Well, I installed it and my game didn't blow up or anything. So
yeah, but shame on them for no changelog. And I will assume that they're going to update it very soon with a
they always do.
all changelog. But yeah, so no changelog. Google Drive got updated. This is a pretty big update. You can edit Google spreadsheets in the new native editor. That's a native editor, which is awesome. It's really, really nice on tablets on the Nexus 7. It is a lot better, and it's getting to be a full-fledged PC interface for Google Drive. It's really cool. You can edit contents of tables in Google Docs Editor. You can also, formatting is maintained when copying and pasting within Google Docs. That was kind of an annoyance. You can also single tap to enter edit mode in Google Docs. And you can add a shortcut to drive files or folders to your home screen. That's a nice addition. And you can also send a link that supports copying link to the clipboard. Now, this is a new introduction. Let's say you were going to share a link from a website. In your share options, you have copy link to clipboard or share to clipboard. So that was kind of a new, interesting addition. I think that they should have had that in stock Android, not just Drive, but it actually came in the Drive update. So that's kind of cool. I'm going to be using that, and I have been using that a lot. Chrome got updated, and very short changelog. This version includes a number of stability fixes and performance improvements. For me personally, it was a great update, a lot of performance improvements, and stability fixes.
Yeah, it definitely deserves a bigger changelog than what they gave you, because it's a lot better.
Yeah, I actually noticed it was a lot faster on my Nexus 4 that is in a box now, and my Nexus 7 and Galaxy Nexus. I opened it up on all the devices, and it seemed like it actually did perform a little bit better. And that was actually a topic last week. We were talking about how Chrome is not it's not what we would like it to be yet on Android. I mean, it has all the bells and whistles that we love and we use daily. It has Cloud Sync. It syncs your tabs. I mean, that's a huge. I use that every day, going from 3 different devices, computers, and everything. That's great, but every once in a while, it just seems slow to me. I I use it and love it. You know, I don't care, but a lot of people don't like the fact that it's a little choppy from time to time. So
Yeah, it definitely improved on the choppiness when you open a link and you start scrolling down. You know, you get that you wait for it when it scrolls down, and it's just very choppy. It's improved some, so much so that you actually notice it, which is it's really nice. It's definitely a lot quicker, but it's a good update.
I think a big case scenario of what came with the performance, people knocking it, was, especially with Jelly Bean, the stock AOSP browser was so good. So, I mean, really just buttery smooth, and you go from that to Chrome, and it's pretty noticeable going back and forth between the two, even though Chrome has a little bit more of what you'd like to see, like what Derek mentioned, with syncing tabs and syncing almost every, having the other bookmarks, folders, and everything tied into it. But it's good to see it get close to the AOSP browser because it is more secure. It does, implement sandboxing, so.
And there was an announcement on Google Plus this week that Chrome looks to more align themselves with the desktop version of Chrome in terms of version numbers and API levels in the near future. So that's something to look forward to too.
Yeah, I really think that they should just focus, I mean, for the time being, on performance and get it up to snuff. Once it's in performance, then they can start adding whatever they want. But for the time being, I want it to be able to replace my, another browser. I want that to be the elite browser, like it is on the desktop.
So let us know, since we keep talking about browsers here, what's your browser of choice for your Android device? Are you rocking Dolphin, stock browser, Chrome, Firefox, something else, Opera? Let us know in the comments, just for the heck of it.
And okay, let's move on to another app update. Netflix got kind of a complete redesign for the player. Added some features, and you get a larger volume button. You got easy scrubbing for longer videos and scrubbing the scenes. And you have scrubbing screen stills, kind of like on YouTube. That was recently introduced a couple months ago. And then added support for Android 4.2 and improved stability and playback bug fixes, which haunted some devices that made people very angry. But
my sister was recently complaining that on her Nexus 7, the Netflix app, ever since she got the Android 4.2 update, had been junk. So, if you're a big Netflix user, such as my sister, and you have a Nexus 7, I'm sure these enhancements and fixes will be much appreciated.
And then the Amazon App Store is now in Japan.
So to our listeners in Japan, I'm sure we have some,
What time is it there?
Congratulations.
Yeah, so that's a kind of a big push for Amazon there. And also to add, navigation is in Mexico.
All right, so
that fully launched out.
So we're going to do an Ingress invite now.
For those of people that don't have invites, that have never played it before, could you give a little bit of a description on what Ingress is? Because I know that there's been a lot of media buzz about it on Google+, and some people don't know what it is.
All right, so before I talk about what Ingress is, what we're going to do this week is we're going to give the code away in the comments of the post, of the original post, something different than last week. So on the Android Authority Google Plus page, so if you're watching this on YouTube or somebody else's stream that shared this post, go to the original post, and I'll give you a minute while I talk about all the good that is Ingress. So anyways, I'm going to paste the code on that post, and you're going to have to hit refresh, and you have to be the first one to see it and be the first one to enter it into the application, the app on your phone. So make sure you have the app open and you're watching on the Android Authority stream live right now from the Android Authority page.
It's like a 23 megabyte file, so if they're on 2G or Edge, you might want to give them a little bit of time.
All right, so I'll give you at least 2 minutes here. All right, so Ingress is an augmented reality game. So what that means is I'm going to hold my phone up in front of me, and I look at it, and I see something different than I see in the real world, such as little orbs of blue floating around, or swirly portals, or little resonators, little metallic objects on the ground. I don't actually see those in front of me, but I see them on my scanner, also known as my Ingress app. So you walk around your town, your city, your area, and you collect energy, and you use that energy to fuel your scanner to be able to perform tasks, so forth, like hack a portal. You try to take over a new portal or an enemy portal, existing portal, all that good stuff. Yeah, we'll click on Scott's here to show you what it looks like. Okay, so that's Scott. He has some little blue dots he needs to go get to get more power. Anyways, so there's two factions in the game. You have the Resistance and the Enlightened. The Enlightened thinks this new energy source is good for you. It's going to better the human race. And the Resistance says, oh no, the energy's bad. It's going to ruin humanity. There's a lot more into it than that. There's a huge backstory. There's new information. There's conspiracy theories. There's a lot of backstory, a lot of game lore, for lack of better words, besides just playing the games. You can really get into it. It's really Google and Niantic Labs has done a lot of awesome stuff to make this actually really fun. So you can get as little involved as you want. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the code here. Right, so I'm going to copy the code here, and I'm going to paste it in on the stream right now. So
F5.
Yeah, you got to remember the Nexus, the Nexus 4 launch F5. You might want to start doing it right now, and then let us know when you win, just so we can say your name and praise you and post comment. Have at it. Refresh and go. All right. So while someone is getting very happy, and while many people are getting very mad, let's continue on with some Android news, then we'll refresh that comment stream there and see who the big bad winner is. So Android news this week, Android 4.2.1 is rolling out to devices now with more December. And depending on your device, there's minor bug fixes, a little bit of Bluetooth fixes, depending on your device, screen flicker, so forth. Actually, people in Nexus 7 are reporting it's run a little smoother for them. So yeah, good. Updates are good. But the biggest thing that most people really notice is December's there now in the People app. Nexus 4. It's
just
available.
in time for December.
Their timing was good.
You know what? I didn't. Well, we'll get to that later. No, we'll get to it now, actually. So on my Nexus 7, I decided not to ADB sideload the update. I wanted to see how long until it pushed out to me, just because I don't normally do that. Normally, as soon as the download's available, I install it. So the update hasn't been pushed to me yet, and my birthday's in December. Actually, my birthday's in about 12 days, so I better get that update soon. I'm going to be not happy.
Isn't yours a day before mine?
Mine's the 11th, big guy. When's yours?
Oh, 14th.
14th? There you go. All right. You give me a present, I'll get you a present. Start shopping now.
We needed this update.
Yeah, exactly. This update's actually for Scott and I. Anyways, so Nexus 4, Nexus 7, Nexus 10, all got it a couple days ago, and now it's rolling out to the GSM Galaxy Nexus as well. Is it rolling out to the Sprint Galaxy Nexus or the Verizon Galaxy Nexus? Well, no, because it's actually 3 updates now behind it. Those devices don't have 4.1.2. They definitely don't have 4.2, and they definitely don't have the one that just came out. So happy CDMA carriers, everyone.
Derek, since you didn't get the update, I'm going to give my perspective of getting the update. The problems that I had with it before with the 4.2 update seemed to be alleviated. A lot of the stability issues that it had seem to be gone. It's not restarting anymore, and it's not doing things that it shouldn't do. So I think it's a good update.
So I'm wondering now. I'm wondering if the people watching, we do have a little less viewers than we normally do this week right now, because there's actually a Daria Musk concert going on right now, and everybody and their brother's watching that because she's an amazingly talented young lady. And so I'm sure people are watching that. I mean, you're going to watch Dari Musk sing. You're gonna look at my ugly face and Scott. I mean, and John.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Don't exclude me from that club.
Yeah. So we're fighting. We're at about 10% down than what we're normally at viewer wise. But hey, that's okay. So anyways, that code's out there. I don't see anybody saying they won yet. So give it to your friend, your brother, your sister, your whatever. Get them to join the game.
You should say it verbally.
And say, yeah, well, they can say it verbally, but we won't hear them. So comment. Anyways, moving on before we so you have those Nexus devices that have the update. You can go ahead and ADB sideload them. If you don't have them yet, you can install the factory images, or you can wait for Google to push it out to you, or run a custom ROM that most of them already have that enabled. So let's talk about some devices here. The HTC Droid DNA, the kernel source, was released for that today. And we know last week, and we talked about it on the show, that the bootloader is now unlocked via a nice exploit. So thanks to devs, you can now have a unlocked and rooted and custom recovery Droid DNA. And this week, I said that as of today, the kernel source was released by HTC, which will lead to better, smoother, faster, more awesome custom ROMs and custom kernels. So why is this good? Well, it gives you more choice if you don't like Sense and you want a more pure AOSP experience. So yeah, this is great. It's great news for developers. And more importantly, I'm excited because our friend Dan Charlton is an HTC kernel developer. He has developed kernels for probably about 40 different HTC devices over the past couple years. I'm going to hammer him until he makes a Droid DNA kernel, just because he hasn't made a kernel in probably a year. He probably, I don't know, a public kernel. Sorry, Dan, I don't mean to shoot you down. He makes his kernels for himself. He doesn't publicly release them anymore. So anyways, I'm going to hammer on him to get a new kernel out there. All right, so another big device announcement this week. The Samsung Galaxy Note 2, which officially launched today on Verizon for $300, $299 on a 2-year contract. And for those of you that don't know, the Note 2 is a beast. It has Android 4.1 Jelly Bean quad-core Exynos processor, 1.6 gigahertz, 2 gigs of RAM, 8 megapixel rear camera, and a 1.9 front-facing camera. Now the Verizon edition has an additional add-on that other carriers do not. The Verizon logo is stamped right in the middle of the home button. So John, our buddy here, actually snagged one of these devices today.
I did, and I've been playing around with it since about 1 o'clock today.
So give us your little mini review here.
Yeah,
John,
home button is banded as expected. Samsung branded with no 4G LTE plastered all over the back, just like the every one you would ever get. General overview, it is a very smooth device. Of course, every device feels amazingly smooth and fast when you first get it, but battery life is incredibly good from what I've had from it, because setting the device up, I had booted it up on the battery and it never charged it. It started about 64%, downloaded all my applications and synced up contacts and everything, and I had about 5% battery left. I had a little bit over 5 hours worth of screen on time, and that was using it the entire time. Obviously, I had the screen on playing around with it the whole day. But I guess if you want to differentiate, because there are so many reviews on so many other carriers, it does come with the Amazon software suite, like pretty much every Verizon branded carrier.
Yeah, that's a new thing Verizon's doing now, huh? They're coming with the full Amazon suite.
Mm-hmm. You can expect this on the DNA, probably any device they have that's not a pure, Nexus or Google Experience device in the future. To be honest with you. But,
so how many apps is that?
Yeah. I mean, are you going to include the Samsung apps that you're not going to use in this?
No. Just
the Amazon suite.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me count for you real quick.
Like 4?
Nah, it's more than 4, because it includes IMDb and Zappos.com, which actually doesn't bother me that bad, because IMDb's useful. I've shopped at Zappos too.
Can you uninstall them?
No, you can disable
Wow.
them like ICS.
Ah.
So yeah, you can expect the Amazon applications are locked in the system partition. It does come with the full suite of Google applications too. So if you use Google Books, magazines, music, all that comes loaded as well. Then you have the Samsung, typical apps, S Voice, and it does come with a few Verizon apps like NFL Mobile. It does come with the My Verizon and Backup Assistant is
So
baked in there
the
if you want
standard
to sync your
Verizon bloatware
contacts.
apps.
It's I guess it's not quite as bad compared to the past where you had City ID and all that other kind of stuff.
City ID, yeah, I hated
And
I
that.
love City ID.
but it still comes with a lot of applications per just how Verizon's.
All right,
always
John.
been,
So I guess I got a question for you. Obviously, you opted to get the Note 2 over the DNA. Why is that? Right now, there's probably people watching or listening that are up for a new phone. They couldn't get the Nexus 4. That they're on Verizon. Should they get the Note 2, the DNA? Why did you make your choice?
The reason I leaned to the Note 2 is after playing with the Nexus 7 for a little while, it wasn't really feasible for me to use the Nexus 7 that often because I don't use Wi-Fi at work or anything like that, and I didn't feel like tethering off my phone. So for me, the screen size is a bonus. I enjoy the screen size. If you're debating on whether is this phone too big for you, I would say if you're in a situation like I was where you had a Galaxy Nexus and you moved to it, it's really not that much of a change. If you're a person that's coming,
5.5 inches compared
to 5.5-inch display,
and the DNA is a 5-inch, so you got a half an inch difference there.
DNA is a little bit narrower. I would say if you're coming from a device like a Nexus or say a Razer or something in that form factor, it's not going to shock you when you pick up the device. It's going to be big, but it's not going to blow your mind or anything. Because the first time I held a 4.7-inch phone, I was like, "Oh my god, this is way too much." But now it's
I remember when I went from
their marketing is working. They've conditioned us to it.
So those of you that are watching right now or listening later in the week, if you're on Verizon and you're going to be getting a new phone, let us know in the comments. Are you opting for the DNA? Are you opting for the Note 2 or something else? Maybe you're going for a Razer Max HD or something. Why did you choose which device, or which device would you choose if you were on Verizon? I guess the question would be.
And now's the time to get a device on Verizon because they always flood their options around the holiday season. So that's when they always get their good phones, so they can make a ton of money and be a happier carrier.
I wonder if
John, I have one last question. So you just got this device. Did you get it on a 2-year contract?
I did not.
You paid
bought
full
it at
price
retail to keep unlimited because the way my usage pattern worked out, I would have ended up paying more in the long run by adopting the plans that they have.
Exactly.
It was about a $200 difference over the course of 2 years for me. Of course, I'd encourage anybody else to try out their.
And what was the retail price in that? $600.
The retail in this is $700.
$700.
And
wow.
I still saved money compared to going to a share plan. But,
so you're a big data user. How much data do you use a month?
Well, if I'm still unlimited, don't really even think about it anymore. I can go. Yeah, I've been using Wi-Fi more often because my home internet's gotten better. But I still stream a lot of music when I'm on the road, so that's probably my biggest killer. I could probably, if I was frugal about it, I could probably cut myself down to a 5 gigabyte a month or so and get away with that, but I don't really want to. I don't want to have to think about it every month when I pull my phone out, whether I'm just having the hassle of it,
All right, so another device, speaking of notes, had some news this week. The Samsung Galaxy Note, the original, the OG Note, had a nice leak for Android 4.1.2. Right now, remember, it's on ICS, and it launched with Gingerbread, so this will be the second major update for the original Note. Besides, Project Butter, standard Jelly Bean features, Google Now, it's also going to get multi-view, smart rotation, some widgets that the Galaxy S3 has, 2 home screen modes, stuff like that. When is it going to officially be out? Yeah, who knows? maybe by the end of the year, which is only a month, or sometime in 2013. Nobody really knows yet, but soon. Once you start seeing leaks, generally they come within a couple months.
Or they don't come at all.
Yeah, it depends on the device. 6 months later, it's still leaking, and you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about some rooting and some ramen.
So CM10 10.1 is out for the Nexus 4, and Nexus 10 is soon to follow. Yeah, soon to follow. So do these devices need custom ROMs? I'm going to ask our viewers, and if you know what or why they need custom ROMs, give your argument. If they don't need them, give your argument. And we're going to discuss in here while you guys discuss in the comments, and then we're going to reflect in the comments. So
Scott, you recently were a guy that would not root all the things. And due to, I'm going to say myself, I'm going to take full credit for it, picking on you week after week after week, you finally rooted your Galaxy Nexus and your Nexus 7 too?
Okay, so I have a view about tablets. That's different than phones.
All right, so you're on both sides of the block here. You didn't root. You eventually rooted your phone. So now you're going to be getting the Nexus 4. What are you planning on doing with that?
Okay, well that's ordered. I have a Galaxy Nexus right now, and it's rooted, and it's added. The rooting has added a lot more functionality that I have. I have my phone wherever I am, so it's nice, and I can have just a lot more features and more control over my device with kernel settings and things like that. With regards to battery life, that's a big thing.
Okay, so there's no argument here that the Verizon Galaxy Nexus has shit battery life. Okay,
Yeah,
it has LTE. LTE is a battery hog, and the battery just isn't the greatest thing on the planet. So now the Nexus 4, in my opinion, has great battery life compared to the Galaxy Nexus, and tablets have great battery life too. So if you're not trying to squeeze more juice out of the Nexus 4, the Nexus 10, would you root either of them?
And
Either of them, yeah.
I think it'd probably be worth differentiating, because when we speak about CM or AOKP, we're talking about a really modified, not heavily modified, but a modified version from what you would compile from source from Google. I would unlock the device and keep some features related to having root access. But even with my Verizon Galaxy Nexus, I really didn't. Especially toward the end when CM and there's no knock at all to the dev team, because I know it's hard to keep up with Google because Google's moving so fast. But it got to the point where it felt like by the time they finally kind of got it stable, Google would push another version of Android where they'd have to start all over again and merge all their changes back over again. And really since Ice Cream Sandwich, I haven't had as much of a need or feel to have to modify the devices heavily compared to back when it was Gingerbread and there was some things that were just sorely lacking. And, you might miss the toggles or something, but there are applications for it, and I just didn't have as much of a need for a lot of the custom features that, and I know a lot of other people appreciate it, but I ran Bugless Beast on my Verizon Galaxy Nexus for over a point of 4 months, and I really didn't even flash every update he posted because I was so happy with it.
And you know what, John? I'm going to tell you my thoughts on that. I hate to say it, but I'm really with you. Right now I'm running Muzzy's ROM on my Verizon Galaxy Nexus. As soon as Pierre Alfonso drops Bugless Beast, I know it's going to be faster than what I have right now. I know it's going to be more stable, even though it's decently fast and there's no problems. I just know that that's his track record because I ran Jelly Bean Bugless Beast and compared it to, CM. And I love the customizations on CM, but it took me many months to actually start running CM because there was lag. It was beta firmware. Of course, it's not going to be up to par. But
I didn't expect anything other from that developer team, but. And it's a different story when you're talking about Nexus than when you're talking about
when
Galaxy
you're
S3 and you're having to port
Yeah.
the whole thing over and get proprietaries compatible anyway.
So
So
my Nexus 7 I've had since the day that you could get it. I pre-ordered it the moment. Well, actually, I pre-ordered it maybe like a couple hours actually before the pre-order was announced because the link was hidden. But anyways, that's besides the point. I've had it since you could get it, and I have a new one now because I had an issue with mine, but I never rooted mine. I ran mine stock. There was no need for me to root my tablet. I mean, what am I going to do? I looked into it. I asked myself, why do I want root? I was like, oh, power toggles. I need those. I was like, wait a second. The only reason I want power toggles on my phone is to try to squeeze more battery life out of it. Tablets have great battery life. I don't need power toggles, and that's me. Everybody's different. So I kept I didn't even unlock my bootloader until I put Ubuntu on my Nexus 7. I didn't need it, and that's weird to me because I'm the guy that was flashing a new ROM every week for a year with MIUI.
Yeah, I used to flash 2 different ROMs at work on the clock just to have something to do.
And on my Galaxy Nexus, I flash a lot of ROMs on there. But now it's really to the point where my Nexus 4 that I had for the past 2 weeks, I didn't unlock the bootloader on it, didn't root it. I wasn't going to. I was going to keep it completely stock for as absolutely long as possible because I couldn't. The only thing I could think of that I wanted was ad block. That's the that's the only thing I wanted to do was block ads. And I was like, whatever. I'll go ahead and give the developers their money. I'll support the devs. I won't block their ads. And that's the only thing it boiled down to. I mean, I don't do the penetration testing with anti anymore on my devices. I don't need to do that. I don't need to use any Wi-Fi sniffers. I don't need to do all that stuff. Now, and with the latest version of Jelly Bean, you really don't need some of the things. Now, the quick settings aren't power toggles. They're just not. They take the same amount of taps. So,
which is really annoying. I think that's one of the things that is lacking and would be very nice.
I'll tell you what, Scott. There's a custom ROM that I'm running right now. That let's see. For those of you that are watching, I'll try to bring this up on my screen here. So all the power toggles are actually there's a lot more, as you can see. There's torch there. There's the vibration. They've added everything that is normally there in a toggle. And they actually work. So if I hit the Wi-Fi,
Trevor,
look, I hit Wi-Fi and it actually turns off.
Shout out to Trevor for bringing that to you.
What's up?
You might want to send a shout out to Trevor for bringing that functionality to you in your custom ROM implementation.
Because I'm running an it.t.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, that's a good joke.
Just throw that one out there.
So anyways, we've been bullshitting for a while about this. We'll move on here. So.
Wait, I have one more thing. Those tiles, the quick toggles, they need to make them smaller. They take up a obnoxious amount of space, and they can be
them the way they are. Don't make them smaller, Google.
Make them smaller.
All right, so let's get it. All right. So those of you that watched last week for the Nexus 10 International giveaway, and then watched
once again,
and then watched the previous 2 weeks prior for the Nexus 4 International giveaway. You notice that my man Scott Anderson he has some issues giving stuff away. I mean, he must not want to give stuff away. I don't know. So the first week that he announced the contest, he announced the code is backdoor instead of back order, and a whole lot of sexual innuendos happened, and a lot of fun was had on his expense. So this week, we're going to be kind enough to give him a 5th try to give away a device.
I will not fail.
All right.
All right, so the Nexus 10 International giveaway, so all you people in USA can join the party with overseas. Okay, so in order to enter this competition or this giveaway, the link we're going to post in the comments. Derek, can you please post that link in the comments?
I posted it for you, big guy.
Thank you. Okay. Basically, what we're going to do is going to go down to the bottom of that post. Basically, it's AndroidAuthority.com. It's the first article link on the top. and you just follow the instructions for the Rafflecopter. Subscribe, follow, like, tweet to get entries. +1, Google Plus, right? And then there's a section that you can enter a code for. The code for this week is... The code is backdoor. Okay? So I'm going to work off my failure, and the code is actually going to be my failure, which was backdoor. So if you just enter backdoor, no spaces, you'll be good to go, and you'll get another entry.
And that is, so no spaces. It's spelled backdoor as in the back door of your house.
Or you can, yeah.
So, moving on. Carrier news. So across the pond, over in the UK, EE, which is the UK's only LTE service, has increased their data cap. Which who doesn't want more data? Customers there that were on a 2 GB allowance will see that increase to 3 gig. So you get a little bit more. 3 gig users will get that bumped up to 5, and 5 GB users will have their data cap increased the whole way up to 8 gig, and all your monthly fees are going to remain the same. All I have to say with that is AT&T, Verizon, are you paying attention to what your friends are doing across the pond?
That's what AT&T is at, though.
Well, Verizon's not.
No. I know, but I think AT&T found a plan that I think a lot of carriers are going to go to. Whether it's good or bad is not, my perspective, but I think they found a good way to do that. But yeah, more data, awesome.
All right, so let's talk about a little bit of patent wars. There was 2 notable things this week in the news.
Oracle versus Google. Oracle dropped the patent infringement claims against Google, and they're only appealing on API copyright issues. So that has been an ongoing thing for how long?
Yeah, and that's good, I guess, that they're just going to focus
on the API.
They're just going to focus, on that. But I think that they're still, walking away with their tail between their legs on this one. So they're just trying to save some face.
Yeah. And then Motorola versus Immersion. So Motorola is ending haptic feedback patent dispute. Immersion's CEO responded gleefully to the agreement that both sides have reached. The successful resolution of this case is a critical step in our overall strategy of enforcing and monetizing our intellectual property, including basic haptics, and we're pleased to achieve a settlement that is consistent with our business model, which is largely based on per-unit running royalties.
So when there's a patent dispute that is agreed upon and going to stop, that's a good thing.
Yep. We don't like the patent wars, and the patent wars have died down in the news, and I remember those months where it was definitely blown out of proportion, and there was a lot of news about it.
We'll just wait until March, whenever the next major round of Apple versus Samsung comes to light in the courts here in the U.S. We got about 3 months of slower times, and then it'll pick back up. So
yeah, their device list is like a long grocery list.
So, as our friend Dan Charlton likes to say, let's get into Derek's whiny time, where I want to whine about, Dan, I don't like that. I'm not whining. I'm informing our viewers of things that I'm going through that they may
You're
go
whining.
through themselves. All right, so last week, it was not really last week, so we had a delayed show 3 days ago. Or 4 days ago, sorry. So a few days ago, I told everybody that on Thanksgiving Day, my Nexus 7, my beloved tablet that I used every day, it died. I don't really need to get into what happened. The point is that it died, and Google replaced it. And they sent me another one. I got it actually on Tuesday. So, for the holiday weekend, that was nice. I mean, I had it. I talked to them on Friday, Black Friday, and I had it on Tuesday. Not bad. I was impressed. I was happy. And you know what? It was like it was like taking the clothes off of a fine lady, unboxing that Nexus device. It keeps getting sexier and sexier every time you do it, and God, I loved it. I love this. I love this tablet. So one thing that did kind of annoy me though, and I don't know if it was because this is a replacement unit. I don't know if it's a refurbished unit or not. I don't know. It didn't look like one. It didn't say that it was one. But anyways, it was kind of annoying to go through the entire update process for every single update that is available. I was kind of hoping that it would start up with 4.1 and be like, hey, look, here's a massive update to 4.2. And that's what I was expecting. Or, I knew it wasn't going to come with 4.2. Or I was hoping that it would be something different. But no, it booted up with 4.1. And then after a few minutes, I was told to install 4.1.1. It's like, okay, yeah, maybe after I get 4.1.1, then it'll be straight to 4.2 or straight to 4.2.1, something like that. Nope. It rebooted after that update and said, hey, here's 4.1.2. It's like, all right, I see where we're going with this. Installs it, reboots. As soon as it boots back up, within a few seconds of signing on to Wi-Fi, hey, here's 4.2. Chug, 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 download that big update, install that update, and reboot again. And yeah, I didn't get the update for 4.2.1 immediately. I was actually thinking I would get it, but I didn't get it yet.
I remember with my Zoom tablet, it did the same thing. And after I had to reset it back to pushed bone stock, like whenever I can't remember the first software update after the LTE hardware upgrades, I had to run through a couple of versions of Honeycomb and then run through the versions of Ice Cream Sandwich and then go to Jelly Bean. So apparently the Nexus 7 isn't the only one where they don't create an upgrade path directly to the most recent.
So let's say a brand new user that just got the Nexus 7 this round of maybe they wanted the 32 or the 32 gig, right? And they get the 32 gig and they're going to have to go through all these updates. That's going to upset, I think that's going to make somebody mad. Maybe reading too much into it, but I can picture somebody that's not too tech savvy, wasting the first half hour they have the tablet just installing updates. That's going to be kind of annoying, don't you think?
Yeah. I don't think it'd be annoying. I know a lot of people that have, people that have Apple devices, they don't update their shit. So,
okay.
So, it will definitely benefit the user, and I think they'll be okay.
They don't want to update, though, because they don't want to lose Google Maps.
No, a friend of mine...
No, they don't even update because they don't even know how to do it.
Yeah, a friend of mine's wife updated to iOS 6 and is furious, like wanting to get rid of the phone because of it. Because it's applications force closing all over the place and stuff just not working on an iPhone 4. And it's to the point that she's looking to get another phone now. And so that says the bigger complaint than anything is that they'll upgrade you to the newest software and it's slow or it's laggy or it's buggy, and I've seen a lot of people get mad about that.
Okay, I got a good question from a listener. Ben Bagley asked, do you guys see any tablets beating the Nexus 7 at a similar price point anytime soon? I'm getting a refund for mine since Google decided to replace my second defective device with a third one. Contemplating waiting for something new or getting a 32 gigabyte version from a brick and mortar store. What do you guys think?
I think that the Nexus 7, while it did just receive more storage space, it's 5 months old. It came out in the end of June, beginning of July. It's 5 months old, and that's okay. CES is in about 6 weeks. If you need a tablet, get a Nexus 7 again. If you can wait till after, even closer to the holidays, when we start seeing some leaks of something that's going to be announced at CES. And again, a lot of CES devices don't get launched until the spring, so that's another, 4 months.
What was that Droid phone that was like 6 months after? Bionic? Yeah, the Bionic.
Oh.
Remember that? That was ridiculous.
It's who knows. It's a tough call. If you need a tablet, get a tablet. There's nothing worse than waiting for an unannounced device.
Yeah.
And if you do wait for CES, you know that the price is most likely going to go down, or you can find a cheaper one that's used. So if you wait, it's going to get cheaper.
I think Samsung could capitalize on a 7-inch Note device if they were to ever put it on the market.
I think they could. I think
if you took a Note and put it at they have to license the technology from Wacom. So let's say you put it at a $300 price range or so or less, and made a 7-inch tablet with good hardware specifications. I think that would sell extremely well.
So if you need a tablet, get a tablet. If you don't need one, wait for CES and check out the goodness of CES, which is always fun to do. Yeah, that's what we're going to say. I think I'm content with that.
All right, so let me have one more Derek Winey segment, and then we'll get into the. Is that way to say? Oh yeah, one more, and then we'll get into the last giveaway this evening. We'll give away our second Ingress code, and we'll do it the same way, just because it's fun to paste it in the comments and watch you guys fight over it. We're sadistic, or at least I'm sadistic. Okay, so it's my Nexus 4. I said earlier that I sold it, and that was a very hard decision. Those of you that know me or follow my whiny posts about the Nexus 4 prior to me actually getting it know that I wanted that device very bad. Loves me some Android, right? And if a new Nexus device is going to come out, obviously I'm going to try to get it, and I'm going to want it, and I'm going to love it, and it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread. As Chris Rizzo said, he's a Android fan. He called me an A sheep instead of an I sheep, and I was okay with that. Call me an A sheep. I don't care. So
A-hole.
So I ordered the Nexus 4. It was the best thing since sliced bread, and it's a great device. I absolutely loved it. Device is amazing. It feels great in your hand. It's thin. It works great. It's fast. It's leaps and bounds over the. I mean, it really is. It is that much better than the Galaxy Nexus. But unfortunately, I live in the middle of nowhere, and Verizon has a stronghold on pretty much all of Pennsylvania, especially central PA. Verizon is the top dog here, and AT&T hasn't done anything in this area for like 7 years. And I mean, it's still Edge everywhere. Maybe 7 years was being a little too rough, but it's been a long time since Edge has been upgraded.
And next week they are releasing a large amount of HSPA Plus to your location.
Oh, you know what? And that's fine that they do that, because at work, which is about 35 miles from where I live, they have HSPA Plus there. And I thought, yeah, whatever. When I'm at work, I can be on HSPA Plus, and at home I'll be on Edge. That's fine. At home I'll use Wi-Fi whenever I'm out and about. But let me tell you, HSPA Plus in Central PA is horrible. A couple times I saw 3 to 5 megabit, but during the day, whenever people were actually using it, I'm getting 1 meg down. I'm not going back to 1 meg, and I'm getting like 800, 900 pings. It's pathetic. T-Mobile isn't an option for me. T-Mobile is not here. So what's a guy to do? Well, I tried and tried and tried to use Edge, and it's slow. It takes minutes, like 3 minutes, to post a picture on Google Plus, to refresh, and that's with 4 bars. You have to have 4 full bars to be able to do anything with Edge, at least in my area. If you have 3 or 2, you can't do anything. Connections time out, don't even work. And worst of all, I can't make phone calls when I have low signal. When I have on the Nexus 4, and also the phone I use to test prior to getting the Nexus 4, whenever I have 1 bar of signal, which is, like I said, I live in a rural area, that happens a lot, I can't make phone calls on the AT&T network with straight talk. But I can on my Verizon Galaxy Nexus. Like with 1 bar, I can make a phone call. Weak signal, it works great. I talk with no signal sometimes, so I couldn't do it, and I sold the phone today on Swappa. I had actually never used Swappa before. I've sold many phones over the years on eBay. I've always used eBay, and I met the owner of Swappa at the Big Android Barbecue this year. He actually sat beside me at the barbecue the last night there, and we ate and we BS'd and everything. And I talked to him about Swappa, and I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try if I ever sell a device. And lo and behold, I was here to sell my Nexus 4, and within minutes of me posting it, and I took a picture of it today. Well, that's actually a side story. It's not just my phone that's bad. I took a picture of my Galaxy Nexus with a verification photo with a coworker's AT&T Skyrocket, and we couldn't even send the picture to my Gmail. It took 5 minutes for the message kept timing out, and we were trying all sorts of ways, and finally decided to just go over Wi-Fi because his phone couldn't send me a picture. That's how bad AT&T is in my area, Scott. So, anyways, I sold it on Swappa. It sold within a few minutes. I have it here in a box already, and the guy PayPal'd me the money. It was extremely easy. So, I don't like to plug things that often, but Swappa was great for me. I look at, I'd say you guys, if you're going to sell a device, look at selling on Swappa in the future. It worked great for me. In a few minutes, I had the cash. Well, my PayPal account had the cash. I'm going to send the device out tomorrow, and the best thing about it is it only cost $10 to sell it. I didn't have to go through eBay and a whole bunch of selling fees and listing fees and PayPal fees, all sorts of crap. I didn't have to deal with all that. So
it's nice to have a site that's dedicated specifically to that type of device too.
Yeah, I mean,
from a user that's looking for it kind of perspective.
That would have been. I don't know how much money that would have been off the top of my head. I don't remember eBay's fees, but it would definitely been a lot more than $10 for a $400 device.
Yeah.
So I said $400, and I sold it for what I paid for it. I didn't gouge people. People on there are listing it for $450, $550. And I'm not going to do that. I paid $387 for the device, so I sold it for $390, and I'm going to pay however much shipping is. I'm just going to guess $10 or whatever shipping is. So I'll get out of the device what I spent on it, minus my $45 of straight talk. So this little experiment cost me $45. Was it worth it? Yes. I got to find out if I could actually use this device in my area. All right. So enough Derek Wani time.
You got to experience the Nexus 4 while people that actually have coverage.
Yeah. So maybe So if I was an ass, I could say, LOL, I've already used my Nexus 4 and sold it, and you can't even buy yours yet. But I'm not an ass.
And you can use it to its fullest potential, and I can't even do that.
Yeah, I can't even. I can only use it on GSM, and I used it for 2 weeks. No, but that's an asshole thing to do, and Derek will not do that. But I will give away free Ingress invite codes courtesy of Jeff Ribeiro. All right, so same thing as before. So if you're tuning in now, you're watching on YouTube, you're watching on Scott's stream, John's, mine, whoever shared this post, thank you for sharing. Everybody should share this post. If you're watching on somebody else's post, I'm going to give you a few seconds to go to the original post, to the Android Authority post on Google+. So if you're watching on YouTube, you got to go to the Android Authority post. And if you're listening, you're just listening later. If you're listening on a podcast or watching after we gave this away, you missed out on it. Maybe we'll think of a way to incorporate you some other time for Ingress invites. That is, if everybody doesn't get them very, very soon. So anyways, without further ado, on the Android Authority post, I'm putting the code in now. Start your engine, start your F5 refreshes, have your app open, and congratulations on joining the Resistance, right? Because I'm on the Resistance. Now, you can go and join Enlightened. I don't really care. Have fun. It's a fun game. It's addicting. I can't wait to go around and hack portals and capture points tomorrow night. That's my plan. I'm going to go out and try not to get arrested. Walk around town at 11 o'clock at night and stand out in front of public buildings and and walk back and forth around collecting XM. With like a ski mask on to keep my face warm. Eventually someone's going to say, "Excuse me, sir, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just hacking the public library. What are you doing?" and it's going to be a cop.
It's nothing that concerns me because it's got XM in places that are like where I could get shot. So do I want it this bad?
I really do want to know that. I want to know it. I mean, because you're walking around, and people are going to walk around at night, even during the day. You're going to be standing out in front of these public buildings. You're going to be getting you're going to be there for a while, and you're going to keep returning there, every day or every other day or whatever. So someone's going to eventually notice, hey, there's that dude that stands here for 10 minutes at a time every day, and eventually someone's going to call the cops on you. If that happens,
explain to somebody that there's some XM to be had in their backyard.
Yeah, just let the officer know there's XM here and the enemy's portal is here, and you need to hack the portal and drop your resonators. They're going to completely understand, and they're going to... but it's fun, even if you get arrested. So did anybody win that code? All right, so Scott... do your thing here while people are snagging their code. Hey, look at that. Someone already won the code. Congratulations. I'm not even going to butcher your name. Seng. I'll call it Seng. All right, congratulations, Seng.
I'm going to do my thing?
Do your thing. Do the wrap-up.
Well, if you guys are watching us right now and don't want to look at us or you don't want to use the bandwidth, I understand. You can always get our show after the fact on YouTube, and in the show comments there will be links to SoundCloud, Podbean, iTunes. We have an RSS feed, and if you want to check out the news on every episode that is posted on Android Authority, go to androidauthority.com, go down in the bottom right, and it'll be a section called On Air. All of our shows after the fact, about a day after, is posted by... Derek, our very own Derek Ross.
What's he doing? I was commenting on posts.
Stop it.
What am I doing?
So yeah. SoundCloud, Podbean, iTunes, all the things. We're available on all the things. All right, guys. Well, it was a short amount of time till this show from our last show, but we will see you next week, and it'll be the same amount of time. So look forward to some good news this week.
Same bat time, same bat channel, right?
Sounds good. You guys have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Take it easy, guys.